All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official news break. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially. And we are talking about is DACA in jeopardy? Looks like some of these old Obama uh, policies are running out and running to its end. 10 years has came and gone really quick. And so we're seeing the U.S. Appeals Court sends DACA back to lower court. So let me get this on the screen. Let me get that going. So this is a protest. They were out very quick. And as you know, there was Iranian protests that just happened at the reparations summit, looking to, I guess, connect themselves to the struggle of foundational Black Americans, with probably very little success on that day. But nonetheless, this says this sends DACA case back to the lower court for to consider new rule. A federal appeals court on Wednesday, they ruled that a program that was that has protected hundreds of thousands of young immigrants from deportation was unlawful, but said current enrollees could renew their status and sent the case back to a lower court to consider a new Biden administration regulation. Okay. With that being said, that means that this whole immigration issue is definitely heavily falling on the Democrats. While that being their lead issue, also being partly part of their lead problem. Because with the immigrants that you have coming over here, they're already voting Republican. So it's what you brought here. Simple as that. So, all of this by ignoring the needs of a certain group of folks. We could have been going in this direction. We definitely needed to. The Dr. Martin Luther King Reparations Act. That is something that definitely would be a positive note for this country, in my view. Reparations is definitely due. But nonetheless, let's continue reading on this DACA situation. A panel of 3 judges from the conservative-leaning 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed a lower court's ruling against the program. Now that's kind of funny too. The conservative-leaning, so they're kind of, look at the wording. Because it's aren't these people supposedly representing the people? That's kind of divisive talk if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Called deferred action for childhood arrivals, but remanded the case in light of a new regulation issued in August. The new rule aims to strengthen the program against legal challenges. The decision is a mixed one for U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat who said he wants a permanent pathway to citizenship for DACA recipients, often known as Dreamers. Today's decision is the result of continued efforts by Republicans, state officials to strip DACA recipients of the protections and work authorizations that many have now held for over a decade. There's something else that has happened over the last decade. I can sum it up with one word: gentrification. Yeah, that part. Biden said in a statement released hours after the ruling, quote, while we will use the tools we have allow dreamers to live and work in the only country they know as home, it is long past time for Congress to pass permanent protections for dreamers, including a pathway to citizenship. Let me point something out right there. Permanent protections for dreamers, including. So that means that the pathway to citizenship is not considered being permanent protections. Sound like anything that a certain group of people have been consistently asking for? But this is what he's looking for. So I guess somewhere you can actually see permanent protections for a certain group when you decide you want to. Well, we're going to see how this one works out. The court allowed the current 594,000 DACA enrollees to maintain their status, but continues to block new applications. In remanding the case, the Fifth Circuit Court said it did not have enough information to rule on the new regulations, which is set to take effect on October 31st. Halloween. Imagine that. What a date. But the case should be resolved as quickly as possible. The 46-page opinion signaled the judges were skeptical of DACA's legality. Well, that's pretty interesting when you have a whole team of lawyers saying that this thing is unlawful in the first place. Isn't that interesting? In our view, the defendants have not shown that there is a likelihood that they will succeed on the merits they wrote. Former President Barack Obama, a Democrat whom Biden served under as vice president, created DACA in 2012 after efforts by the United States Congress to grant citizenship to immigration brought to the country as children failed. Texas and the coalition of states, which Republican attorneys general in 2018 sued to end DACA. I remember that, arguing it was illegally implemented. That's back in 2018. Now they had to sue to get that. Now, but it's still, and nonetheless, we still see more people coming across the border. And nonetheless, they're not going anywhere. We just had another bus, I guess, get dropped off at the vice president's house. So we see that there's a clear issue. In July 2021, the United States District Court Judge Andrew Hannon in Texas sided with the states. Hannah's decision blocked the new DACA applications from being processed, but existing DACA recipients were allowed to continue receiving benefits and apply for renewal. The Biden administration appealed the decision, sending the case to the Fifth Circuit. People with DACA status can obtain work permits, a social security number, and in some states receive driver's license and financial aid for education. DACA recipients have faced years of uncertainty and legal wrangling. Biden's predecessor, former Republican President Donald Trump, tried to end the program but was stymied by the Supreme Court. Excuse me. The opinion issued on Wednesday was authored by an appointee of the former President George W. Bush, a Republican who was joined by two Trump appointees. Boy, they are throwing them right, like everybody that's associated with that right wing, man, they are throwing them out there, ain't they? They're making it, and then the Democrats, they try to stay it. So this is a very slanted tone article, family, to say the least. A Department of Justice spokesperson said the department respectfully disagrees with the decision and will continue vigorously to defend the lawfulness of DACA and this case as it proceeds. So, I think that's pretty much majority of the what's going on. It gets into some random particulars, but that's pretty much it. Oh no, that's pretty much it. So again, it looks like some things are happening now. I could kind of wonder if you knew that you would have to be paying reparations out to foundational Black American freedmen. Wouldn't you have to start turning around the process of the open border policy that is now has the country? And it's not just that, it's a combination of many things that now we see $31 trillion of United States debt. The strongest country on earth is $31 trillion in debt. I mean, that is bringing the truth of the little phrase on the dollar bill to life. This is legal tender for all debts. See what we're dealing with? So, this is just a situation, just reporting the news, family, just reporting the news. This has been a Beatzilla PDX official news break. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Beatzilla PDX. Of course, you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And also, you can hit up the donations if you would enjoy the programming here and you want to support this channel. You can definitely do so at CashApp, $Beatzillapdx, and also at PayPal at Zilla Muzak. That's ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. So again, looks like DACA's in trouble. And we are still on our reparations angle, folks, and that's really what it is about over here. Good luck to whoever they're like. Hopefully, maybe we need to start reevaluating the angles we're playing. But at the end of the day, can't put all your eggs in one basket and ignore the Black voter. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed day. This, again, just a news break, just to hit you off with this story. So y'all have a good one. Have a blessed one. Black first. Shalom, y'all.